Morning friends, happy Sunday. How the heck you doing? Salty Island has been absolutely off the scale mad over the last 24 hours, and for the royalists in the comments, no, I'm not selling the t-shirts. I had this made for myself. Get to the point, Martin. This is now a game of will they, won't they? But the underlying issue is that there is still a massive concern from people that support Harry and Meghan, like myself, that Harry and his family are not receiving proper security when they land in the UK. There's all sorts of crazy people out there in this world. We know that. They need the same security allocation as the rest of the other side of the family. You know, those non-working, sponging royal family members like Andrew, who still require security 24/7 and cost the taxpayer an absolute fortune. That level of spend also needs to apply to this family when they return to the UK. There needs to be absolute parity. And why people are accepting that the non-working side of the family, like Andrew, receive security and live a life of Disney-style luxury while contributing zero, there's no outrage. Why aren't we protesting? Why aren't we emailing our MP? Why aren't we making noise about the cost versus what we receive and this situation here? Part of me is glad if Meghan and the kids stay away, but the principle of parity, word of the day, still applies here. My opinion's not important, yours is.
Hold on to your hat, squaddies, because the rumour mill is spinning at top speed again. Prince Harry is apparently having second thoughts about dragging Meghan and the kids back across the pond to the UK. Honestly, can you blame the guy? Let's look at this like normal people, not royal experts. Imagine trying to book a family vacation where your own relatives are giving you the ultimate side-eye, the local tabloids are sharpening their pens like knives, and the security situation is a total mess. That is not a holiday, that is an extreme sport. Harry is out here playing chess, trying to keep his family safe, while everyone else is playing playground games. For regular folks, a stressful family trip means dealing with a noisy airport or an annoying uncle who talks too much politics at dinner. For Harry and Meghan, stepping foot in the UK means running a gauntlet of flashing cameras and endless drama. Harry deciding to protect his crew and maybe leave them back in sunny California is the most relatable thing he's done. It's pure protective dad energy. He's basically saying, yeah, I want to see my homeland, but I'm not throwing my wife and kids into a lion's den for a photo op. The media wants a massive showdown, but Harry is just trying to navigate a minefield. You've got to back the guy for putting his wife and kids first, even when the pressure to perform for the cameras is through the roof. If he leaves the family at home, it's not a defeat, it's a smart play to keep the peace and keep his family happy. Let's keep it a stack. Pulling someone's security because they quit the family business is the ultimate toxic boss move. The corporate suits at the palace are trying to pass this off as standard bureaucratic paperwork. Oh, you don't clock in at the office anymore. Cool, no badge for you. But we all know exactly what's happening here. It's not about balancing the budget or filling out Form 2B. It's a straight-up penalty play. They are trying to squeeze Harry and Meghan by making a quick trip to the grocery store feel like running a gauntlet. Think about it like regular people. This is like your petty ex-employer changing the locks, cancelling your health insurance, and then making sure the security guard at your apartment complex looks the other way when the neighbourhood trolls show up at your window. It's wild. Harry didn't stop being the king's son just because he traded a freezing cold castle for a sunny backyard in Montecito. The target on his back didn't magically disappear when he stopped wearing the official uniform. The higher-ups are terrified of them moving around freely, looking happy and drawing massive crowds without the palace PR machine controlling the cameras. So what's the strategy? Trap them inside royal walls. You want to be safe? Come sit in this drafty palace where we can watch you. It's sloppy, it's transparent, and honestly, it's just desperate. They wanted to break the couple's stride, but instead they just showed everyone exactly how petty the corporate hierarchy can get when you refuse to play by their outdated rulebook. Let's be real for a second. You don't get to choose your DNA. Harry didn't fill out an application form in the womb begging to be born into the most famous, scrutinized family on the planet. He just woke up one day and boom, he's the king's son. With that bloodline comes a lifetime supply of unhinged paparazzi, internet trolls, and actual stalkers. That's not a corporate benefit package you lose when you hand in your 2 weeks' notice. It's an inheritance. You can't just clock out of being famous when your face is literally stamped on the coins. The palace trying to act like security is some kind of corporate gym membership is hilarious. Oh, you don't want to open hospitals on a rainy Tuesday anymore? Cool, we're turning off your security cameras. That is wild. It completely defies logic. The bad guys tracking Harry don't care if he's doing a ribbon-cutting ceremony or buying milk at the local shop. They just see the target. For regular people, if you quit your job at the bank, you don't expect the company to keep paying for your parking spot. Fair enough. But if your dad is the boss of the whole operation and your actual existence puts your wife and kids in danger, you'd expect some basic family backup. Stripping his protection because he chose peace over the drama is just a cheap, petty move. It's a total failure of basic parental responsibility wrapped up in bureaucratic red tape. Let's talk about the sheer, unadulterated hypocrisy of this whole situation. The maths is completely broken here. You've got politicians who clocked into Downing Street, completely wrecked the economy, and bounced after barely 6 weeks on the job. And what do they get? Lifetime perks, massive expense accounts, and taxpayer-funded security details forever. They literally did less than 2 months of work and got the ultimate platinum safety net. But then you look at Harry. The man didn't just inherit a massive target on his back by blood, he actually put skin in the game. He spent a solid decade in the military, served on the front lines, and did the real work. Yet when it comes to keeping his innocent young kids safe during a quick trip to his homeland, the system suddenly pulls out the calculator and says, "Sorry, funds are tight, you don't fit the criteria." Are you kidding me? It's completely backwards. For regular people, if a guy serves his country for 10 years, you expect him to be looked after. You don't expect the government to roll out the red carpet for a politician who lasted less time than a head of lettuce, while telling a combat veteran and his family to fend for themselves against a hostile media mob. It completely exposes the game. This isn't about rules or budgets, it's a selective, petty punishment. They are totally fine spending public money to protect failed politicians, but the moment Harry and Meghan choose their own peace, the system decides to lock the vault. The double standard is screaming, and frankly, it's embarrassing.
Let's be completely honest about what's driving this whole containment strategy. It is straight up panic behind closed doors. The corporate suits running the show are absolutely terrified of the optics. They know that if Harry and Meghan roll up to the UK, move around freely and connect with everyday people, the crowd reaction is going to tell a story they've been trying to rewrite for 10 years. There is nothing scarier to an old-school hierarchy than seeing the public give genuine, roaring applause to the couple who walked away, while the official lineup gets a lukewarm, polite golf clap. Think about it like this. It's like a massive corporation trying to bury a former superstar employee who left to start their own thing. The tech lords or fashion bosses don't want the public seeing that the ex-staffer is actually happier, thriving, and pulling bigger crowds on their own merit. If Harry and Meghan step out in the streets light up with real unchoreographed love, the whole "they ruined their lives by leaving" narrative evaporates instantly. So what do? They hide behind bureaucratic red tape. They use security logistics to keep them locked inside royal boundaries, hoping to avoid that exact public reality check. It's a desperate attempt to control the cameras and protect a fragile image. But regular people see right through it. You can't fake authentic connection, and no amount of behind-the-scenes engineering can dim the shine of a couple who chose their own path and succeeded anyway. Talk about being a bad sport on a global level. The higher-ups back home are acting like a bitter ex who calls your new job to try and get your parking pass cancelled. Word on the street is they're actually putting behind-the-scenes pressure on other countries, basically begging foreign governments to skimp on the red carpet and safety protocols whenever Harry and Meghan come to town. It is pure, unadulterated high school drama, but with diplomatic passports. They are trying to throw a global blackout on the couple just because they decided to pack up and build a life out in California. But honestly, the whole plan blew up in their faces spectacularly. Look at what happened when Harry and Meghan touched down in places like Nigeria and Colombia. The locals didn't care about the palace memo. They rolled out the heavy machinery, gave them top-tier military protection, and treated them like absolute rock stars. While the suits in the UK were busy hiding behind bureaucratic paperwork, the rest of the world was busy throwing a party. For everyday people, this is like your petty old manager calling around the industry trying to blacklist you, only for you to walk into a rival company and secure a massive promotion on day one. It just proves that you can't force the world to ignore people they actually like. The palace tried to lock down a global embargo, but all they did was make themselves look completely out of touch while Harry and Meghan kept winning on their own terms. Now this one right here is the ultimate psychological game. They aren't throwing people into a medieval dungeon anymore. Instead, they built a high-tech, invisible cage made of security red tape and anxiety. The strategy is simple. Make normal, everyday life such a massive headache that you just give up and stay inside. They want a simple drive to the store or a private trip to see Diana's family at the Spencer estate to feel like an impossible mission. By stripping away their protection, the system is basically trying to cook up a constant state of panic. It's a mind game designed to mess with your freedom, lock down your independence, and make you think twice before you even lace up your sneakers. Let's look at this like regular people.
This is like a toxic family member letting the air out of your tires every time you try to go to a job interview or visit your favourite aunt. They aren't explicitly locking you in your room, but they're making sure the second you step outside, it's a total nightmare. Oh, you want to go clear your head and pay respects to your mum? Good luck dealing with the chaotic paparazzi mob without a shield. It's incredibly cold. They want Harry and Meghan to feel isolated, stressed out, and completely broken down, so they'll eventually crawl back and say, fine, you win. But the joke is on them. The couple already broke out of the main matrix. Trying to trap them with these petty roadblocks just shows how desperate the old guard is to control a narrative they already lost. You can't trap people who have already tasted real freedom. Look at the math on this one, because the moral scale is completely upside down. You have Andrew, a guy who has spent the last few years drowning in some of the most grotesque global scandals imaginable. He dragged the entire institution's name through the mud, got hit with a multi-million-dollar settlement, and faced actual police investigations. Yet for years, the firm protected him, shielded him behind castle walls, and kept the safety net firmly attached. Meanwhile, what was Harry and Meghan's grand crime? They packed their bags, moved across the world, and decided to build an independent life where they actually work for a living. That's it. That is the whole offence. For everyday people, this is like a family business where the shady uncle gets caught cooking the books and running a total scam, but the boss covers his legal fees and buys him a vacation home. But the second the youngest son says, hey, this environment is toxic, I'm going to go start my own shop, the family cuts his brakes, blocks his number, and leaves him to fend for himself. It is wild. It makes zero logical sense until you realise it's never been about morals, it's about compliance. Andrew stayed under their thumb, kept his mouth shut and played the game, so they protected him from the fallout of his own mess. Harry and Meghan chose freedom and ran their own play, so they get treated like public enemies. The double standard isn't just glaring, it completely exposes the fact that the hierarchy values absolute control way more than basic human decency. That is it for today, family. If you are sick of the double standards and the absolute madness, you know what to do. Smash that subscribe button, hit the like, and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are they completely out of line or what? Thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and I am your host, Miles. Catch you on the next one.